There are some other arteries that participate, but I'll just name them. There's something called the suprascapular artery. So I'll repeat that, suprascapular artery. And we have the superficial cervical artery. And we have the thoracoacromial artery. And we have the lateral thoracic artery. And finally, we have the subscapular arteries. So these 5 arteries that I just mentioned here, it's not very relevant for me to start showing you these arteries on this diagram over here right now. You'll get confused. For now, just remember their names. So when they come up in the future videos, so you'll know that we've heard of these names before. Try and remember this little map that I've made. So the brachiocephalic, as you can see, we learned that the brachiocephalic trunk divides into the right common carotid and the right subclavian artery. And the brachiocephalic trunk came from the arch of the aorta. The next branch is the left common carotid, and the next branch coming from the arch of the aorta is the left subclavian artery. Each of the subclavian arteries gives off the internal thoracic artery. And each of the internal thoracic arteries, they participate in giving off smaller arteries that supply the intercostal spaces. The intercostal muscles, you can see here, these arteries over here. They're passing on blood vessels to the intercostal spaces. And then we were talking about the descending aorta. The descending aorta gives off bronchial arteries at the level of the intravertebral disc at the between T4 and T5 vertebrae. So at the level of the sternal angle. And the descending aorta, it also gives off all of these intercostal arteries. So we're going to write that down here as well. All right? And the ascending aorta, that is right over here, the ascending aorta, it is the one that gives off the coronary arteries that supplies the heart. So we covered all of those structures. So this is just a general overview of the blood supply of the thorax. These are additional arteries that we will be learning about later on, how they participate, and we'll learn about the blood supply of each of the contents of the thoracic cavity in more depth as we go into their specific lectures. So let's move on to the venous supply.